Hi, Jason Wells here, and I want to talk about lead generation in this week's MLM Complete Package training. Now, obviously, to recruit an MLM, you need people to talk to. And most people know that lead generation is probably one of the most important aspects of a growing MLM business. And, Chris and I run other businesses, and I can tell you it's required in any business. Doesn't matter what you do. You don't have people interested in what you have, you probably don't have a business. Pretty much common sense, right? You would think it is, yet so many people join an MLM business and that opportunity does not have a solution for leads. And this is a pretty common thing that happens out there. So I want to talk about the three most productive ways that you can generate leads. First is offline. These are people you know, people you run across, or referrals that are out there that maybe you recommend a product that you have, you get a customer, that customer recommends and refers people to you. Those are great offline ways to grow your business, and that's what most of MLM does, and it's a great way to build. I've seen people build exclusively that way, but I don't recommend it. I've used both online and offline. But before I move on to online, the offline world is really dictated by your ability to communicate. People that don't have a communication process, communication skills, who don't know what to say when somebody brings up something that might make your company good for them from a customer standpoint, or make your business good for them from an opportunity standpoint, from the business standpoint, then you're not going to get anywhere. And I think one of the most common things is, well, when we coach people, we'll ask them like, well, what do you say in this situation? And people just kind of like they draw a blank. Well, if you can't say something to us, you're certainly not going to say it when you're out there, when you're out in the fire and the heat's on and you have a prospect that's a potential for your product, service, or business. So you need to deal with that. And the sooner you deal with that, the sooner you're going to start making money in MLM. So we have 3 courses, communication course, and we have personal endorsement courses, one for business, one for customers. If you don't have a communication process and you don't know how to develop a conversation and determine when it's appropriate to introduce your business, or meaning the opportunity or the product or service, if you don't know when that is, you need to get a communication process, and you need to understand connecting, developing, introducing, follow-up, and closing, which is the process that we teach in our communication training. But when it's time to introduce, if you don't know what to say, like whether it be business or customer, then you need our personal endorsement courses. Our own downline goes to this training in our own company. We use the same training because we know after years of experience where people get stuck and what people need to know. And so that's what we do. So I recommend that for people. As far as online lead generation, we don't recommend doing this like fake it till you make it stuff. There's a lot of these traction marketing garbage out there. Like that stuff, like, yeah, there's a certain amount of traction marketing that goes into everything. But the reality is, if you're new to MLM, you can't like position yourself as an expert. You just can't. You're not an expert in MLM. If you're not a leader in MLM, you're not making a full-time income, you can't position yourself as an expert. It's fake it till you make it. It's that old stuff that people have done in MLM for years that people are frankly tired of. So you got to knock that stuff off. What you can do is you can be an expert in your own niche. So like, for instance, we have a client who owns a small business. He makes good money in his small business, but he's tired of the trap. He calls it the small business trap. So do you think there's other people out there like him? So we focus on that niche, and his brand and his website is targeting people who are in a small business trap. And frankly, he would be more qualified to talk to those people than I would, because even though I'm more successful, those people are going to relate to him more and respect the fact that he's taken 10 steps ahead of them in getting out of their trap. So that's an example how you can do personal branding. And we have a lot of customers out there and clients that we work with on that stuff, and we actually design their websites for them and design their communication process around that and design their marketing funnels so they can generate leads through their personal niche. But that may not be for you. That's not for everyone. The last thing, if you're somebody that doesn't want to do your own website, is lead generation cooperatives. Now, I don't mean lead vendors, and I'll more on that in a second. You don't want to buy leads from lead people. Lead cooperatives are usually programs run by advanced marketing people who are also leaders in MLM. People like me that, like, I actually call the leads myself, so I have a vested interest in them being good. So I generate leads for my downline or other people in my company, and I call those same leads. And I want to be good because I'm calling them and my downline's calling them. And I'm not really selling them per profit. I might make a small profit just to pay me for my time in doing it, but I'm not like a lead vendor where I'm trying to sell a lead 5 times for $5 and make 5 times the money of what I spent in generating that lead. And so, you know, those are really great, but the problem is you got to be in the right downline. You know, not every leader in MLM will provide leads to their downline in this kind of form. So, but if you have that, that's something you want to consider. You want to take our courses on offline stuff, and you want to get good at communication and good at endorsement, and you want to jump into lead cooperatives if you have those available to you. If you're somebody that's fortunate enough, like people in our downline where we have the lead cooperatives, you want to jump into those because you always want to have leads to talk to. Because if you're talking to people every day, you're gonna do more numbers, and more numbers means more recruiting that's going to happen for your business, more customers. But it's also going to, at the very least, get you more practice. And when you get better, your conversion rates go up. But you got to talk to more people to get better. So it's like this double-edged sword. You can't recruit people until you get good at it, but you can't get good at it until you start talking to people. So basically, what I'm saying is get a constant flow of leads. Now, if you don't have a lead cooperative available to you, and even if you're not the type of person that wants to manage a website, if you want to get good at MLM, you got to consider maybe doing a personal brand niche type website. Now, the way the lead cooperatives work in closing on that, just so you know, is say there's 100 shares outstanding on a lead cooperative, and you buy 10 of those, you would get 10% of the leads. So if there's 100 leads generated, you'd get 10% of 100. If there's 1,000 leads generated, you get 10%. That's normally how those work. Now, most lead cooperatives don't work where you pay $5 and you get a lead. It's whatever amount of leads that come in generated from that marketing thing is. It could be 1 lead or it could be 1,000 leads. Why? Because if you truly want to generate good leads, you have to put marketing out there that's targeted, and so you can't have some expectation that, well, I'm going to pay this much per lead. It's going to be, I'm just shooting for long-term, as many leads as I can get at the best price I can get, but that are quality. So lead cooperatives are not usually like lead vendors. Now, one thing I want you to be careful of, there are some leaders in MLM who offer, quote, lead cooperatives, but all they are is relationships with lead companies. So now lead companies are the ones actually just passing the leads, and you're buying into that. That's not a lead cooperative. That's your leader having a deal with a lead vendor, which years ago I had no problem with. We used to do the same thing, but nowadays leads have gotten so bad, and I feel these lead vendors have gotten so greedy that they're just passing crap leads to people. And it's really demoralizing when you have your downline talking to people who can't even formulate a complete sentence, let alone don't even have a job or don't know what they're looking for. So obviously I don't need to go any further into lead generation vendors and spending time with them. Don't do it. I'll just say that looking at yourself going long term, you need to take your organization by the horns. And if you have to become an expert at branding and lead generation, you may need to do that long term because people in your downline need somebody to give them people to talk to on a daily basis. And if you don't have that, somebody needs to figure it out. You either need to, you know, figure it out on your own or find somebody that does know how to do it. And so one of the things that I'll tell you is, if you don't have lead cooperatives available to you, you may want to consider branding a niche website, your own personal website, because here's the thing. We have some clients that we've worked with where they generate leads and they get their website kind of fine-tuned, and they actually can take their website once it's fine-tuned and start doing lead generation cooperatives with their own personal brand website, and they can generate leads for their downline through their website. So there's ways of doing that too. So these are some things to think about, and be aware that leads are really what make your business go round. And this is not just MLM. This is any business. We own other businesses. We do other things, Chris and I, and you got to have people that are interested in what you have. So in conclusion, take your business seriously. Get good at communication. Get that communication course. Get good at knowing what to say when you're introducing your company. You need to have your endorsement down for your business and your endorsement down for customers. And then consider a personal branding website. And if you want to know more about like cooperatives, branding, and that kind of stuff, go to MLMcompletepackage.com, click on contact, and fill out a contact form. And that's something that we can discuss with you if you have a bigger vision for your MLM business going down the road as far as lead generation. Anyways, have a good week. Have a great weekend. Be productive this weekend. Don't sit around and eat potato chips. I'm kidding. But build your business. Don't take your foot off the gas, because MLM is about consistency and lead generation is about consistency. So do yourself a favor and build your business this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.